I'm coming you from a different setting here, and you can see behind me there's a field there. It's a rugby pitch. Now, the whole purpose of my page here is to just share some insights from my various things, activities in my life, to hopefully be able to add value to you through the various learnings that I've had and that I can pass on to yourself. And one of the hats that I wear is as a president of a junior rugby club down here in Melbourne, Australia. And so I'm going to be taking some insights that I have learned in running a rugby club in sport and how that can influence you within, so I'm going to put it into a business context. Now, there's always a lot of people just doing analogies between sport and business. You can get keynote speakers to do that for you, and then you can get some certain tools. What I'm going to do today is I am going to just show you some really simple things that you can implement in your business and a way that you can think differently so that you can start to actually treat your business like you are playing a sport. Because if you can do that, the impact will be actually quite profound. And I'm going to share with you what that is. So look, when you think about what sport can do, it's an amazing arena where you can get in and you can express some fantastic values. And that's why when you are involved in sport like I am, and especially junior, you really love seeing the impact that it can have on kids coming in and learning the values of sport. The ability to get up, brush themselves off, get back up again, to be able to know what it's like to win gracefully, and to also to be able to take it on the chin when they lose, to just shake hands afterwards and to respect the opponent. Those kinds of values are really not taught very much these days. And in sporting arena is a really fantastic thing for that to happen in. And that's why I'm so passionate in that field and why we have been able, I've transferred a lot of that passion into that club. And we have a lot of other volunteers now, like me, who do an even better job. And together, we've just built a fantastic club. So the whole concept of me thinking about taking sport as a business, as a sport, and being a professional athlete started about 8 years ago. Now, I'd played sport for over 40 years for various levels through school, through representing Australia at universities, played in serious club kind of level. So I knew what that was about. But then I hadn't really made that shift and transfer in doing it, taking it from that world and implementing it into business. And the reason was because there wasn't as much structure within the business world. It's pretty much, there's so many different ways to do it. So we came across a process called values-based financial planning 8 years ago. And it was, I came across a new mentor who then got me thinking about approaching business differently. And that is as if I was a professional athlete inside my business. And this person was a fantastic, his name's Bill Backrack. He created values-based financial planning. We ended up investing into that system. We ended up paying about $3,000 US a month for 4 years to be able to submerge ourselves in becoming professional within our business. And we did things like, just like a professional athlete would do, we used to go to training and we would train. I'd fly over once a quarter to San Diego, and we would sit down for 6 days and submerge ourselves in training as if we were in business. And we wouldn't just sit there and take notes. We'd actually be doing face-to-face training. We'd be doing role plays. We'd be doing things getting outside of our comfort zone, just like a professional athlete does. They get outside their comfort zone. You know, it's the person that stays behind after training that does the extra kicks for goal, that puts themselves in those situations as if they are in the game. Well, we started doing that. We started turning up to these trainings with all these other advisors, and we were doing role plays against each other, and it was fantastic. And the other things we did were we developed what's called a pre-shot routine. So most people, when they just go into business meeting, half of the time you're rushed, you're picking things off the printer, you're just double checking, you may be coming in from traffic, but most of the times you're not in the right mindset, you're sitting in there and you're stressed. So what we developed was a pre-shot routine. Just like you see a kicker do before they go kick for goal, they've got the routine they go through to put them in the right mindset. And exactly the same thing that a golf player does who has, you know, Tiger Woods must have swung his club a million times, but he still has his pre-shot routine, and he still does that before every shot. And if you watch any professional golf player, they don't just walk up to the green or up to the ball and just smack it. They've got a routine they go through to put them in the right mindset. So we started developing that into our business. And, you know, we really just sort of grasped that concept because I know some of you may be reluctant to engage in a third party or a coach within your business. However, what it did for us, it just took us to that next level. And I likened it to the fact that, you know, if someone like Roger Federer, who's got over 20 Grand Slams, needs to have a coach, then surely I could have a coach within my business. And, if Roger Federer is turning up to training every day and still practicing his backhand, then surely I can turn up to training and practice how to create value for clients. So what we were doing in those trainings this is the key thing that's important. What we were doing in those training wasn't sales training. It wasn't sitting there. It wasn't objection handling. It was working out how we can be in the right frame of mind and mindset to create a level of comfort and psychological safety, so that when we came into a meeting with a client, we were relaxed, the client was calm, and they were in a position where they could feel like they could get a lot of value. And what I mean that is they were so comfortable that they could share with us a lot of this information that they would not even share with some of their closest friends. So we would often have, through this process, people would share with us things that they wouldn't share with their best friends, because we just knew how to make them comfortable and open up and have a nice conversation. And that was all from the benefit of training, of treating it like as a professional athlete, of actually putting down time slots in my calendar when different types of appointments were. So just like the athlete has training time, we had training time. We had the time for clients when I knew it was the right time to see a client, when I'm going to be at my best, so I could give them my best value. Just like you don't just play a game you don't play a game of sport. You don't play a game of footy every day or every hour of every day. However, in business, for some reason, we feel like we've got to turn up to play the game 100% every single time. And it's just not realistic. So we adapted our business to that kind of sporting mindset. And what that did was it let us grow in a fashion that was exponential. And it also gave us conviction to be able to keep growing. And eventually we became attractive to be bought out by the subsidiary of a listed company. So if you can take that kind of mindset of being a professional athlete into your business, it will have an amazing effect. And not only that, not just with your clients, because, you're not in business, your clients aren't your opposition. You're there to give value. What I encourage you to also do is adopt that kind of sportsmanship to your competitors, to your other people down the road who are you sharing things like you would with a competitor as if you're in a game of sport? Do you rock up, and if they win something that you really want to, do you like get upset and fold your arms like a little sport kid, or do you walk up to them and say congratulations and really mean it? So and do you learn from that like a professional athlete would, and learn how you can grow professionally and personally? Because if you think about what sport does, that's what it does. It brings people into an arena that transcends quite a lot of different barriers. Nelson Mandela said that it helped them bring the country back from apartheid, and which is amazing. And back in 1914, sport was used during the first Christmas as a nice leveler. So what happened back then was that it was the first Christmas of the First World War, and the British and the German troops called a truce. Someone did, and they came out and met in the middle in no man's land. And they celebrated Christmas on Christmas Day, and somebody brought out a soccer ball and they played a game of soccer right in the middle of, or football, right in the middle of the no man's land. And so you had these people who had literally been going from killing each other, literally a couple of hours beforehand, coming into the middle of an arena, playing a game of sport, and soccer in this case. And in this instance, the Germans won. And they shook hands, and then they went off and gone on about their business, which was another 4 years of war. But the point is that sport has an amazing capability to bring out the best of people in a really competitive environment, and then to be able to leave it on the arena. Now, if only more businesses were like that, then the world would be a lot of a happier place, I would say, because you wouldn't get a lot more stress. People wouldn't be taking things so personally. In my case, if I come across a business that is a poor loser, is a cheat, does the wrong things, I really waste my time in terms of getting so upset about it. I shake their hands. I say, okay, good game. I'll see you. I'm going to move on to the next opponent, next game. I'm not going to dwell on that kind of thing, because there's a lot of people still stuck in that really lack kind of competitive environment, as opposed to the sportsmanship sharing environment. Now, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to try and share a screen. I want to show you something that happened on the weekend that I thought was amazing. Well, it's not really amazing. I mean, it's pretty just natural, but it was lovely. It's lovely to share it. Now, bear with me while I try and work out the mechanics around this, because I'm going to share with you a scene that happened after a game of rugby union in Wellington on the weekend. And this is after what's called a Bledisloe Cup. Now, the Bledisloe Cup is a fierce competition between New Zealand and the Australian rugby union teams, the All Blacks and the Wallabies. They've played since 1930, over 115 times. Out of those times, the All Blacks have won about 75. And the Wallabies have just really started coming back up again. But there's always this really fierce kind of niggle. And these days, with the press conferences and everything, they even get elevated even higher with all the talk. But what was awesome to see was that, and hopefully I'll just do this. What was really awesome to see was the impact that what happened afterwards. What happened was the captain of the Wallabies team had just done his 100th Test match, and the captain of the All Blacks invited the Wallabies team into their sheds, into the change rooms afterwards to share a beer. I'm going to share with you, hopefully that works. There you go. I'm going to share with you what actually happened just really quickly, and you can just see how beautiful this moment is. This is the captain of the All Blacks, just giving a quick little speech in their change rooms after they've just been beating each other up in the wind in overtime and having there was press conferences saying it was the lowest time ever in terms of relationships between teams. They were talking it up. But here's the reality of what happens inside sportsmanship.
Just on behalf of us, we want to congratulate you on your 100. Just got some New Zealand's best red wine. Not sure where it's from, but one of the greats. So enjoy it when you get the chance. Every time we play you blokes, it's just it's on from word go. And thank you for inviting us in here. It's the other stuff of rugby that's quite special too. So thanks to all the boys, and see you next week in Auckland, Dave. Thank you. Cheers.
So guys, if you can take that kind of attitude into your sporting arena of your business, into how you deal with your life and your clients, and give it your all, but then recognize when it's time to move on and then move to the next game. Like these guys are talking about, well, we'll see you next week. This game was a draw. And if you can do that, imagine the difference and the more relaxed and how much more relaxed you're going to be about business and about life, but more importantly, how much more value you're going to be able to give your clients. So I hope that was a valuable value to you guys this evening. It was certainly a lot of fun delivering it, and I look forward to seeing you on the next live. Who knows what hat I'm going to wear? Today was a rugby guy. Tomorrow it might be back to business, but whatever it is, I hope you got value of that, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Cheers.